Hello and welcome back to Faith, Fitness, and French Toast. As always, I'm your host, Moses Allwood, and I want to warmly welcome you back to the podcast. The purpose of this podcast is and always has been simple: to encourage, empower, and inspire athletes of all walks of life in their strength endeavors, faith walk, and of course, their best options for post-workout late night meals. I recognize it has been a few months since the last episode. F3 has been slightly sporadic for the last couple of years as I have developed the show and pursued some other interpersonal adventures. But I'm excited before we jump into this next episode for a number of reasons. Some of you who follow me on Instagram or Facebook may have noticed I've added a new co-host, Christian Mirzajewski. Christian is a rising star in powerlifting, an old training partner of mine from Salt Lake City, has decided to join the team as a co-host. He believes in the vision. He believes in what I am doing with this show, the conversations that I'm having, the information that we are providing, and I want to be a part of it. So you will notice later in this episode as well, Christian is going to be a part of this conversation. In future episodes, Christian and I will be leading this together. While this will always be my baby, I recognize there are times for development and improvement and change. This was one of those times. We're excited to have Christian on board. I'm excited to have another voice, another vision, some more energy to add to this show. The second thing that is a little bit different is I'm changing the format of the show. While we will continue in an interview style, you will notice me put more effort towards video podcasting. We will eventually start live streaming these interviews to YouTube as well, so you can engage while we're talking to the guests. You can even ask questions to the guests while we're talking with them. As a part of this new rollout, I'm going to be putting more effort into the other facets of the show beyond fitness. F3 is the three: faith, fitness, and French toast. It's the three pillars, right? A lot of these past episodes, I have focused primarily on the facet of fitness. I've touched on both other elements at the end of the interviews, but in an effort to provide an even better product for you, the listener, I'm also going to begin interviewing people who have a specialization in both of those other two facets. My father was a Methodist pastor. I grew up overseas. My parents were missionaries. My connections in the theological world are seemingly endless. I've gotten the chance to meet people from every single religious walk of life over the past few years of running this podcast. And so I'm excited to have more intentionally specific conversations about faith, spirituality, and religion. And none of that being intentionally limited to Christianity or a Judeo-Christian mindset, but of having full conversations with people who are in that world, who are deeply spiritual or religious or invested with a specific kind of framework when it comes to religion. The other thing you guys may know is my full-time career is hospitality. It's restaurant and bar management. So I also have a great number of connections, from chefs to celebrities to other restaurant managers and owners. So I'm excited to also bring some of those people on so that you can experience a little bit of that world as well. My hope is to continue to provide a more well-rounded experience for you, the listener. I don't want you to be getting bored with the content that we're creating, but I also don't want myself or Christian to feel like we're just churning out similar content week in and week out. So a couple of these changes I'm hoping are going to provide a better product for you. I'm hoping that it's going to increase the experience and enjoyment level for you. But as always, anything and everything that you may like to see, advice, ideas, suggestions, guests that you'd like to hear from, please hit me up on Instagram, faith_fitness_podcast, or message me directly at Big Mo Powerlifting. and let's get the conversation started. If there's something that you want to hear, if there's something that you want to see, communicate that with me. And of course, I'd love to do what I can to help out. Well, folks, this is just a quick intro. The first episode of season 8 with Eric Wilberg is going to release this Friday, the 13th, on all major platforms. And you will also see that video podcast release live as well. I love you all. I am so, so grateful for the continued support over the last 3 years for the work that I've been putting into this. As always, enjoy the show, sit back, relax, and let's dive in.